Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we'll discuss how, by using simple and straightforward principles of menswear, you can confidently and stylishly introduce more colors into your outfits without looking like a peacock or a clown. Even those who are relatively new to classic menswear can reliably look sharp by falling back on some of the fundamental color pairings in menswear, such as brown and blue or gray and blue, and we've got an entire playlist on how to wear and pair different colors, which you can find here. But once you develop an interest in the finer nuances of dressing well, you'll be looking for ways to spice up your outfits and add even more complexity. And one such way to adapt to this challenge is by introducing 3 or more colors into one single outfit. Of course, we're not saying that simpler and more straightforward pairings shouldn't be opted for in some circumstances. After all, going for a simple worsted wool suit and a plain silk tie is a combination that is relatively stark, but when done well, it can look good. Simply add a white shirt and a pair of brown or black Oxfords to this combination, and you've got an ensemble that's going to be appropriate for almost all business settings, as well as many other environments. But these same simple colors can get a bit boring over time. So, with that in mind, we've got 6 tips today for how you can incorporate more color into your outfits, and indeed can extend this principle to including 3 or more colors into one outfit. The first 5 of our 6 principles today are generally going to fall under the umbrella of increasing your overall amount of color. With that in mind, our first tip today is to ditch the white shirt. While the white shirt can serve as a standard backdrop to your suit or sport coat and tie, it is just that, standard. As a baby step out of this paradigm then, you could first try something like a pastel blue shirt with a navy suit, or a pastel pink shirt with suits in various shades of gray. Assuming you're also wearing a tie or another accessory in a different color, simply changing the color of your shirt from white to blue or pink automatically adds a third color into your ensemble. Also, because a white shirt can be stark, incorporating a pastel color instead softens the look just a bit. Taking this same idea a step further then, you could also look for pastel shirts in other colors, such as a light green, salmon, or lavender. These, in turn, make excellent backdrops for brighter or bolder versions of the same color that you could incorporate into your tie or other accessories, pairing the salmon with orange, the lavender with violet or purple, and the light green with a darker shade of green, like hunter green, for instance. And on that note, this subtle addition of color is also going to help you tie your other accessories more harmoniously into your outfit. As an example here, you can see a tweed jacket in brown that does also have subtle flecks of other colors, paired with a barrette wool bow tie in a houndstooth pattern, and a pocket square that has tones of red and blue. The pale yellow dress shirt here helps to tie things together in a warm color palette, whereas a plain white dress shirt would again look stark and perhaps too formal. Our second way today to add more color to an outfit is to add an odd vest or waistcoat in a different, brighter color. Odd waistcoats are expected to pop in your outfit just a bit. After all, even the formal morning dress code incorporates waistcoats in colors like buff or robin's egg blue, and sometimes even things like pastel pink. Wow, that's one of the louder engines I think I've heard in a while. So, for your suits or combination outfits, don't be afraid to experiment with waistcoats in bolder colors like red, orange, yellow, or royal blue. And whether you're wanting to make the outfit a bit more casual or adapt more to colder weather, substituting a formal waistcoat style for a sweater or other type of knit is also a good option. As another example, take the outfit depicted here with a sage green suit and purple tie. If this were to have no waistcoat or other layer and just a stark white shirt again, things would look a bit austere. However, because the wearer has incorporated both an orange sweater and a blue shirt, more colors have been introduced and the outfit is more dynamic. And if you'd like to be a bit more subdued and try an outfit featuring a jacket and tie in the same or nearly the same color, you can also use a vest as a bit of a dividing line. Further, if the jacket and tie are almost the same color but not quite, the addition of a colorful vest can trick the eye somewhat, as you're seeing with this example in navy and yellow. Our number 3 tip today is to trade out your suit for a combination of sport coat and trousers. As we mentioned before, part of the ease of a suit is with its uniformity. Because the jacket and trousers match, you don't have to worry about coordinating the top and bottom of your outfit. With this said, many of the sartorially inclined, including those of us here at the Gentleman's Gazette, often prefer combinations of sport coats or blazers and odd trousers, as they open the door for more color combinations, and since they're not quite as formal, they can be worn in more settings. Once you've decided to wear odd trousers, in summer you could go with colorful chinos or khakis, or perhaps even go-to-hell pants, and in winter you could try colorful corduroys. Of course, the added variable of differently colored pants can create the temptation to try matching the color of those trousers to that of a solid tie. However, in our estimation, this often has the potential to wind up looking a bit matchy-matchy, and we'd suggest that you try incorporating a tie in a third color. For example, you could consider an outfit consisting of a navy jacket, reddish tie, and gray trousers. Our number 4 tip today is to not forget your feet. By this, we simply mean that adding colorful shoelaces to your outfit is an often overlooked choice that ticks all of the boxes we're going for here today. They're colorful, cheap, and unique. And if you are in the market for colorful shoelaces, look no further than the Fort Belvedere shop. We've got numerous different colors and styles for both shoes and boots, so we're guaranteed to have something that will meet your needs. By the way, if you're wondering how to lace and tie your dress shoes correctly, you can take a look at this video here. Our 5th tip is to add a boutonniere to your outfit. The hole in your jacket's lapel is really meant to be filled, and a boutonniere is a perfect way to do this while adding a stylish pop of color. And once again, this is an excellent opportunity to introduce a third color into your outfit, even if it is more formal. For example, if you're wearing a suit in navy blue with a white shirt and a tie in a pale yellow color, feel free to introduce a third color via your boutonniere, such as the light lavender tone of this field scabious. So those are our first 5 more general tips out of the way. For the 6th, which is to introduce multiple colors by adding patterned garments to your outfits, we've actually got its own sub-list of 7 more items, so bear with us here. By adding multiple colors using a patterned garment, you're automatically going to be introducing more richness and complexity into your outfit than you would simply by just relying on different solids. So we'll kick this sub-list of 7 items off with our first, which is the necktie. A foolproof method to introduce more visual interest into your outfits is by replacing a plain or solid tie with one that contains a pattern of either stripes or repeating geometric motifs. In order for the pattern to be visible on a tie, it has to incorporate at least 2 different colors, and often it can incorporate many more. The beauty of a pattern tie is that it can act as a bridge between the various other pieces you're wearing. As an example, take the outfit that Raphael is wearing here, where the red in the tie coordinates well with the Nantucket red trousers, despite the fact that they're not exactly the same shade. Meanwhile, the striped pattern of white and blue also coordinates well with the subtle pattern of the jacket, as well as the blue in the pocket square. Of course, it's equally possible when wearing a pattern tie to use the pattern to introduce an additional color. As another example, take this grenadine tie in maroon, navy, and gray. You could wear the tie with a gray suit and add 2 new colors, or with a navy blazer and gray trousers, making maroon the added color. Or in other combinations, as you're seeing here, with this jacket in a taupe color. And if you want an even more casual tie style that still incorporates multiple colors at once, you could try a knitted tie in a 2-tone changeant silk. We offer various different colorways of this tie style in the Fort Belvedere shop, featuring color combinations like magenta and black or navy and red. These ties are knitted in such a way that it looks as though the color is changing depending on how the light is hitting it as well as the viewing angle, thus we use the French term changeant. You can also find simpler modeled knit ties that mix 2 colors together, or slubby shantung ties that also feature multiple colors. On the whole, accessories are a safe way to introduce multiple colors into your outfit because you're often only going to get them in small doses. And this is exemplified best by the pocket square. While you can, of course, just add a single new color into your outfit with a solid pocket square, using one that incorporates a pattern will give you the most bang for your buck, incorporating many colors in its design. Take, for example, this paisley pocket square, which contains at least 8 different color tones. However, because they're in pastels and incorporated in a small pattern, none of them are overwhelming. Furthermore, depending on how the pattern is situated on the square, using a different fold can accent a different color. Using this same square as an example, you can see how a puff fold accents the pink color more, whereas showing the edges further accents the orange. By the way, if you're looking for multiple different techniques on how to fold a pocket square, you can find our video on that subject here. Pocket squares can afford even greater freedom when introducing more colors into your outfit than ties because they're expected to be a bolder pop of color than a necktie often is. Beginners to classic men's style can often commit the faux pas of buying matching sets of neckties and pocket squares, but the true menswear aficionado knows that wearing an independently designed pocket square is a great way to incorporate more color and complexity into your outfit. As an example here, the pocket square repeats both the red and gold of the bow tie's patterned motif as well as the red of the jacket's overcheck, but at the same time it's accenting gold more than any other color. When it comes to their ability to incorporate color into outfits, scarves can be seen as a larger version of pocket squares, although we wouldn't recommend that you try to substitute how you would wear each of these garments for each other. Whether you're wearing a silk scarf with a printed pattern or a more solid cashmere, be aware that scarves can introduce more bold color into your outfits, and you would do well to surround them with more subdued garments like your overcoat, for example. Now, venturing out beyond accessories for our number 4 pick here, one of our favorite underappreciated ways to incorporate multiple colors into one outfit is via the use of a Tattersall patterned shirt. The Tattersall pattern, which is of course a type of check, is made up of 2 or more different but complementary colors. By the way, if you're unfamiliar with terms like complementary or want a refresher on basic color theory and terminology, you can find our video on using the color wheel to assemble superior outfits here. As an example of how the Tattersall pattern can be used, you can take a look at this shirt from Cordings, which skillfully incorporates pink, purple, blue, and black into the pattern. Tattersall is versatile enough to wear in even most business settings, especially if the scale of the pattern is small, and it will allow you to inject more color into your outfits this way. You can, of course, find multicolored striped shirts as well, but they run the risk of looking a bit louder, and so we would recommend that you incorporate them more into business casual ensembles or those even more casual than that. We mentioned solid waistcoats before, with an emphasis on knits, but traditionally speaking, the odd waistcoat was one that was often expected to incorporate a strong pattern. So, if you're wearing a solid shirt, you could incorporate a pattern like a Tattersall into your waistcoat instead. And again, using a waistcoat in this way allows you to play with even more colors because it will once again act as a bridge between different elements of your outfit, like your jacket and your tie, but will also incorporate its own multiple colors in the pattern. As an example, consider this checked waistcoat from Chester Berry, which manages to pull in the buff tones of the pocket square, the red of the trousers, and the blue of the shirt. Red can also be found in the pocket square's polka dots and in the necktie, and the pattern in the jacket further reinforces the color feel while also adding more playfulness. On that topic, our number 6 item here is jackets, and often jackets with an overcheck can be your friend when trying to incorporate more colors. The most famous of these is probably the Prince of Wales check, which features a Glen check in one hue with an overplaid in another color. Take for example a gray Prince of Wales check with an overcheck in sky blue. Just like that, you've incorporated another color into your outfit that you could draw out with other elements like your shirt, tie, pocket square, or perhaps a vest. In this example, the Prince of Wales check is in burgundy to bring out the tones of the tie and pocket square, and also features an overcheck in green, which helps to harmonize with the waistcoat. Finally here, our number 7 pick for multicolored wardrobe elements is socks. The trend of wearing crazy socks probably peaked a few years ago, and it wasn't really a trend that we got behind fully, as you can see in this video here. However, just because we don't recommend wearing socks with pizzas or dinosaurs on them doesn't mean that we advocate just for sticking with solid socks. I'm going to try to pack some puns into this sentence here. You can wear socks in various accent colors, or you can step up your game further by wearing patterned socks, which will be a shoe-in for socking it to your onlookers and putting your best foot forward. There we go. All right. I can actually think of a few more, but I think that's good enough. And wearing patterned socks isn't a trendy move either, as you can look at vintage fashion illustrations and men's magazines from the golden age of menswear to see that this was already a common technique. One such option to instantly incorporate 2 colors is to wear shadow striped socks, which feature a main color in the body and a secondary shadow color in the ribbed stripes. Or, if you want even more subtlety, you could opt for solid socks that feature a small clock pattern down the side. Of course, we offer both shadow-striped and clock-patterned socks in the Fort Belvedere shop, along with our new two-tone solid designs, which also feature multiple colors. Before we wrap up today, we've got one more additional note, and that's about colors that read as neutrals. If you're wearing any neutral tones, such as brown, beige, khaki, various shades of gray, black, navy, or other shades of blue, be aware that these are easy bases for you to add almost any other color to. This is true even if you're wearing a garment that features a pattern in neutral colors, such as this Gun Club check jacket, which features blue and brown tones. It isn't overwhelmed by the addition of the red in the tie. In conclusion, then, we would say that no matter what the season, it's always the right time to try incorporating more colors into your outfits. The assumption of the uninitiated is that by wearing multiple colors in one outfit, you're automatically going to look like a clown or one of the peacocks proudly strutting at Pitti Uomo. However, by leveraging the principles we've outlined today, you can easily incorporate one or even more unrepresented colors into your outfits, and this can be a way to flex your style expertise. With that said, though, restraint and careful consideration should always be part of a gentleman's wardrobe game. For example, we wouldn't necessarily recommend that you wear brightly colored shoelaces, too two-toned socks, go-to-hell pants, and a neon-colored vest all at the same time. Think of the ideas we've presented today as a buffet of options to choose from, and remember not to overload your sartorial plate. In today's video, I've put together an outfit that is attempting to illustrate many of the principles we've discussed. The principal accent color of my outfit is the blood orange of my V-neck sweater, which is also echoed in the pattern of my pocket square as well as my Tattersall shirt. Oh wait, I forgot to mention that there's orange in my tie. Okay, I'm really gonna have to string all this together. Okay, let's see here. Yeah. My principal accent color today is a blood orange, which can also be found in the patterns of my pocket square and my tie, as well as in the Tattersall pattern of my shirt. Other colors featured in that Tattersall pattern are blue, green, and purple, which are also all found elsewhere around the outfit. Green is found in the bow tie, pocket square, and socks, and purple is also found in the pocket square and socks, as well as my cornflower boutonniere. Blue is admittedly playing a bit of a background role in the ensemble, but there are some blue tones in the indigo of the pocket square and the cornflower, and indeed, this shade of cornflower was historically referred to as blue. My camel hair sport coat is acting as a neutral to ground the outfit somewhat, as are my plain brown trousers, though they do contain a warm undertone which serves to harmonize with the orange in the outfit. My chocolate brown suede Oxfords are also grounding the outfit, though I've inserted into them some tan-colored laces from Fort Belvedere to provide an additional pop of color. And of course, you can find all of the Fort Belvedere accessories I'm wearing in today's video, including the socks, boutonniere, pocket square, and tie. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention the shoelaces. Let me just double check to make sure. Shoelaces, socks, boutonniere, pocket square, tie. Yeah, I think that's everything. And of course, you can find all of the Fort Belvedere accessories I'm wearing in today's video, including the shoelaces, socks, boutonniere, pocket square, and bow tie in the Fort Belvedere shop here.